Somehow along the way, I have picked up a belief that I am undoing right now, that I need to manage my experience of life. In some ways, that looks like if I'm feeling bad, then I'm immediately thinking, what do I need to take? What do I need to do? Some of these things can be good, healthy things like exercising or eating good food or meditating. And some of these things are the cheat codes that I discovered, and those are the desires to have some sort of intoxicant to make it easier to manage my emotions or the way that I feel. And I think that this belief that I need to manage my experience is something that has extended through a lot of my life. And I think that sometimes very well-meaning people who during your upbringing can help emphasize these beliefs by giving you ways to feel better when you feel bad, but can make you think, oh, if I feel bad, then it must mean that there are things that I need to do to fix it. So if you are having a really difficult emotional time and you're asked if you've had, good food or enough water, that can be a very caring way to show that you want to help, a child feel better. But if the child has a crazy warped brain like mine, that child could start to believe that if they feel bad, it is a personal failing of some sorts. And I remember being just really, really exhausted when I was in high school. And I think I was just very, very depressed. And I just felt very incapable of doing what I was expected to do. And I felt like that was my personal moral failing, or I wasn't good enough. So when I discovered that I could take a substance years later and then could push right through, that was very appealing to me. And now I find that when I have really large emotions, that same sort of belief can come in. Now, let alone if I feel physically bad, given that I've had problems with opioids. Oh man, it is a great excuse. I mean, if you're in pain, this is what it's prescribed for. I loved lying to myself and convincing myself that not only was it a legitimate thing for me to do drugs, but also why would I not? This is clearly what I need to manage my experience. But, today I had a really strong emotional response to something. And my first impulse was that I wanted to smoke some nicotine, because I've also been giving that up, because let me just say, I've tried so many different substances, and each one I seem to have to learn my own lessons with. But instead of doing that, I took a couple moments, and that intensity did fade. And when that intensity started to fade, then I was able to start unpacking some of the reasons that I was responding in the way that I was. I'm grateful that sobriety has given me enough clarity so that I can handle similar situations, hopefully, in the future, with more of an understanding as to why I might be responding the way that I am. So it's not that sobriety allows you to avoid emotions, but the thing is, emotions and physical ailments, negative experiences, are there to help you see what's wrong. And that could be something that's wrong for you in the way that you have dealt with a past trauma and that you just need to unpack that. That could mean that you're sick and you need to rest. But when your whole existence is trying to ignore uncomfortable stimuli, then you miss the knowledge and the growth that you can get from having to sit in that. And honestly, discomfort is so good for your mind, and it can bring about so much growth. And I'm learning how to make friends with discomfort, or at least not feel like, woe is me, it's unfair when I have to deal with something that is uncomfortable.